Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Coach Sanawegoni, and in today's lesson we're going to be looking at striker positioning. This is not the first time we've done a positioning series. I've got a link in the description below for centre back positioning, and this is not the first time we're talking about strikers either. I've got a link in the description for striker roles in the formation setup, all below. If you like what you see here today, guys, please hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, let's go.
You know, for me, it's all about performance.
Getting started, let's have a look at this red zone. So right here we are looking at the central space. We are looking at going up within the half, and this is where we're gonna see that red hot if we are looking at a heat map. So this is where we see that this player has been working up and down because they have dominated the central area. That's what you need to do inside here as a striker. You've got to be able to have control. This is your control zone here. This is where we get to see which team was actually better with the defense and attacking responsibilities by who wins the battle inside here. So you've got to make sure that you're taking control of this control zone here for you. This is also where you need to be creative. So you've got to be able to pull defenders apart. You've got to be able to pass intricately. You've got to be able to make sure that you are as creative and as imaginative as possible. Make sure that you're not too predictable. Otherwise, it becomes very easy to mark against you. Thirdly, this is where we are looking for you to pressure and be pressured. So, like we said, you the one who needs to control here, and that takes a lot of pressure. That's pressure on you, but that pressure on you, you need to take it out and put pressure on the defenders. This is where you really need to apply yourself. Make sure that you are the number one inside this red zone area here, especially on the edges and inside the box. So make sure that you can get yourself in at every opportunity you can. Make sure that you are taking your shots and getting as many chances as possible. Testing the keeper. Don't just shoot to shoot. Please always test the keeper. And with that, lastly, inside this red zone, this is where you're getting majority of your finishes, especially going inside the box and finding yourself in spaces all the way into that 6-yard box. But from all that pressure, all that creativity, all that control that you have dominated, we need the finish. More than anything else, we need the finish. How you do it is up to you. That could be your creativity. But at the end of the day, we need that ball to hit the back of the net while you're in here. Now, inside this red zone here, you can be one player or you can be two players. There's a link in the description below, as mentioned before, to the video as to how to set up your formation to have one or two strikers. So if you are playing alone, you've got to have the ability to drag one or two defenders at the same time, because that's who they are looking for. They're making sure that they've closed you down, so you've got to be either quicker than them, have a better reaction than them, and you've got to be smarter than them, or trying to outsmart them at any time in the game. So that means drop off, come up, pull away, get close to the lines here so that you're not too central at all times, move around and just pull them apart so that they're not really together inside that line. If you are playing with two strikers, that job becomes a little easier in my opinion, simply because now it is 1v1 in the final third and on the edge of the box, and you have to do the same work but with someone else in support of you. So make sure that you're talking together, you have a good partnership, and you're moving, as well as you two aren't in the same line. You guys aren't the defenders here. Make sure that you are talking to each other. There's one up, one down, one to pull defense, one to have the creative pass, one to finish. Make sure that you're not doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, but you've got to be working together to get that goal. So now let's talk about the striker inside the half space area. So that's there, like mentioned before, is in between the red and the green lines, and that there in the half space is a place where you can really disappear, really alleviate the pressure, get a little bit of time to rest and plot your next move. For me, I like to call this the invisible zone for the striker. Don't get caught up and stay in here for too long, because remember, we need you in the center to finish. So all you're coming in here to do is pop in, breathe, pop back out. Make sure that you're coming back to that central area. What you can do there is really drag defenders away. Make sure that they're not too comfortable protecting that center, and you're moving them away from the goal, so they're going to be looking over their shoulders, as well as you can counter from here. So if you're dropping low enough or collecting the ball, if you think about it, most counter attacks that are started by strikers, they do tend to be in the half spaces. That's where you do find yourself one-on-one, so it's easier for you to move, but as well as you're in space here where you are breathing, and when that ball gets turned over and you're the first option, you've got room to run, you've got room to test defenders, you've got room to move left or right depending how you choose and where that space is. On top of that, over here you can have an overload. This is where, as a striker, you can help your wingers and your right midfielders, or any wide player, including your wide back who's coming up. You can be here. If you're in this half space here, you really create the options to create an overload and either get it wide or bring it back to the center. Get yourself out wide here and have someone else run in to make sure that at least someone is working inside that middle, but you can get on top of the opposition and use that extra man who's the striker inside this half space area to overload anything that really needs to happen. On top of that, the very last thing for me in this half space area is the striker can enforce a defensive press. So if you are defending and you need to just press the ball, as a striker, I don't feel that you can really do much from this central area here. But once you get into these half spaces, you can block off the field and make sure that you keep the opposition towards the touchline, and you will have your supporting players to come and help you, whether you're doing a full press or even a half press. But so long as you've blocked off the entirety of the other side of the field, if it does have to go around you, trust it'll have to move all the way back around you. It seems a lot to process for one man, but if you are playing with two strikers, you can really just move up and down here using that 1-1, whereas one is up, one is down, not necessarily behind each other, but now someone in that half space that continues to drag the defense even more. And more than likely, if you are one striker, you will have your wingers coming into here. But if you're playing as two strikers, it gives you that opportunity to be creative and have the opportunity to be intricate on top of everything that you are doing. Please don't ever position yourselves here. This doesn't help anyone. I need one striker to definitely be in the center of that red zone. Simple. This wide space here just to hide and seek. What you want to do with it is have a little touch and go. So like I say, use 1-2s, get creative, make sure that you're finding people around you. You will have support of wingers and players coming back behind you. Make that touch and then you go and find yourself back into the central area. So use that as a touch and go area in the space. What you do have though, what you don't really have much of, or let me rather say you've got more of, you've got a bigger freedom for you to do a one-on-one take on in this scenario. So use your skill, use your speed, use your pace, use your strength to go one-on-one in here, but make sure at the end of the day that you're trying to drive yourself more central the higher up the field you go. If you need to dribble, take on, and then come in here, that's fine. All I'm saying is your intention needs to be from the wide space, work your way up and central. But if you do have your striking partner with you, please leave this half space open. It's not necessary for the both of you here. Who's in the center? Who's going to get that goal for us? So make sure that one of you still remains inside that central spot while the other one can go and operate and have some free play in that wide area. But at the end of the day, you still need to work together and get up together. Make sure someone can deliver a ball and someone can be there for the finish. And that is it for now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button to catch me on the next part of the series, where we're going to be talking about the striker and what they should be doing on the ball. Please hit that subscribe button. This is the end of part 1 of 3 in this striker positioning series. I will catch you next time. Adios.